A very good afternoon to everyone. I, Sajal Mishra, student of DMA Media School, welcome you all to the Vibrant India series, episode 63. I also welcome all the viewers who are watching us live on Facebook. Vibrant India series is an initiative of DMA Media School for celebrating 75 years of India's independence. This series will be a year-long exercise. As part of this series, we invite inspiring personalities for online talk, interview, interaction with our students. The invited personalities for this series are from all walks of life and from all parts of the country. Today, our special guest is Manjari Jaruhar. We welcome you, ma'am. I would like to take a moment and introduce Delhi Metropolitan Education to our viewers. DME is an A-grade educational premier educational institute affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, New Delhi, and approved by Bar Council of India. The institute offers BBA, BLLB, BBLLB, and BJMC programs. DME believes in imparting world-class education to its students while training them to develop and enhance their skills. The education and training enables them in taking up challenges of the industry and creating a space for themselves with their competence and vigor. DME Media School is one of the most promising media institutes in the country. It offers BA in journalism and mass communication. It is recognized as a school focused on the growth of its faculty and students through academic and co-curricular activities. Major flagship events and initiatives of the school include PJ Varghese Lecture Series, Peer-to-Peer FTP, International Film Festival SIFI, International Conference ICANN, Britika, Convention of Media Students, and VIS, Vibrant India series. It is our privilege to introduce you to the personality of episode 63 of the VIS. Guest of the day is a personality full of motivation, wisdom, and courage. Manjari Jaruhar is advisor to Tata Consultancy Services. She is advisor to the Committee on Private Security Industry at FICCI. Manjari Jaruhar has been the chief coordinator with the Indian music industry and is a senior advisor to 9.9 Media. She has authored a book called Madam Sir, based on her memoirs while working in police and security forces. Ms. Jaruhar has retired as Special Director General of the Central Industrial Security Force, CISF. She is one of the first 5 women police officers from India and the first one from the state of Bihar. She was selected for the Indian Police Service IPS in 1976. Ms. Jaruhar has led teams in wide range of complex and challenging assignments, from fighting crime to administering a massive organization. Ms. Jaruhar has shown exemplary leadership. She is the recipient of the Government of India's Police Medal for Meritorious Service and President's Police Medal for Distinguished Service. Ms. Jaruhar has been awarded the Director General's Commendation Disc for Outstanding Service in CISF and CRPF. Her specialties include security and protection of large undertakings, recruitment, training, and gender issues. I now request the technical team to show some glimpses from her life. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us today. It is indeed an honor to host you. I now request Dr. Susmita Bala, Head DMA Media School, to welcome the guest.
Thank you, Sajal. Welcome everybody to episode 63 of Vibrant India series. We launched this digital program in 2021 on August 9 on the anniversary of Quit India movement. And we presented episode 50 of this program this year on August 15 when India celebrated 76th Independence Day. Vibrant India series is an initiative of DME Media School, Delhi Metropolitan Education. It is an online series to get inspiration from distinguished personalities. This program has been conceptualized and created by Professor Ambrish Saxena. Vibrant India series is a tribute to all those people who have made supreme sacrifices for the independence of our motherland. This program is a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, a celebration on India completing 75 years of independence. Let us have a look at the eminent personalities who have graced the VIS during the last 1 year. 8 personalities from the defense forces have participated in VIS till date. These personalities belong to the Indian Army, Air Force, and BSF. These include Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, Lieutenant General Vinod Bhatia, Dr. P.K. Saxena, Professor R.K. Dargan, Captain Dharmveer Singh, Group Captain Ashok Kechodia, and Mr. Virendra Kumar Gaur. Also, Squadron Leader Prerna Chaturvedi. 8 personalities from the education sector comprising education planning, teaching and research have participated in VIS. 5 personalities from the journalism, broadcasting and entertainment sector have joined the VIS. From the social sector, 9 personalities including 8 women have participated in VIS. These include Dr. Monisha Behel, Dr. Mridula Tandon, Dr. Mridula Seth, Ms. Tripti S. Shingal, Ms. Vibha Lakheda, Ms. Bhavareen Kandhari, Dr. Meenu Walia, Ms. Meenakshi Gupta, and Padma Shri Jitendra Singh Shanti, the founder of Bhagat Singh Seva Dal, participated in VIS. 7 personalities belong to art, theatre, and literature participated in VIS. From the field of law, 2 personalities participated in VIS sessions. From the police officers, 3 police officers have also participated, Mr. Amod Kant and Mr. Vibhuti Narayan Rai participated in VIS. 3 senior IAS officers have also graced the VIS. 18 women have participated in 62 episodes of VIS. I have already mentioned about 8 women working in health and social sector, 1 in the Air Force and 1 in human rights, 1 in theatre, 1 in education, and 1 in diplomacy. I also want to make mention of Ms. Indrani Singh, a pilot, Ms. Pallavi Fauzdar, an adventure motorcyclist, Ms. Sachi Soni, a mountaineer, Ms. Saloni Sacheti, an entrepreneur, and Ms. Vandana Mahajan, who is a cancer survivor and cancer coach. From the other field, Mr. S.P. Rawal, Mr. Augustine Waller, Sufi Sayyid Azmal Nizami, Mr. Balindu Sharma Dadiji, Mr. Satish Saxena, and Mr. Ganesh Falke participated in VIS. Today, in episode 63, we have with us a distinguished personality, Ms. Manjari Jaruhar. Welcome, Manjari ji, in episode 63 of VIS. Welcome you all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for listing out the galaxy of experts we have hosted till now in VIS. I now request Dr. Amrit Saxena, Dean DMA Media School, and originator and ideator of VIS, to take the program forward.
Thank you, Sajal. So it's indeed an honor to host Manjari Jaruhar ji in this session. She is obviously, as we know, and as it has already been stated in her introduction, she is one of the most distinguished women of contemporary India. who has made immense contribution to different walks of life. And as her personality, we can find that she was in the police force, but then she did not stop there itself. And after that, she is involved in so many activities wherein she is contributing so many organizations, right from FICCI to other organizations. And also she is an author, as we know now, and she has written that book based on the memoirs that the experience that she had while working in the police force, which is basically, we all know even today, despite whatever changes have happened during the course of time, it is still a force which is heavily dominated by men. So we welcome you, Manjari ji, to this session. And as I have already explained, going by the format of this program that we have started this program to invite personalities like you. And the basic objective behind is that since we are an educational institution and there are students who are studying journalism and mass communication here, who need to be motivated by talking, by interacting with such kind of personalities who have created a mark for themselves and who have created a nation and who have served the society in so many ways. So basic purpose is to get our students motivated. And as the format of the program goes after this introductory segment, we will be requesting you to narrate your life journey. Again, the objective behind this is that if something is coming from the person himself or herself, that will be more authentic, that will be more credible. And also, if you can narrate some of your experiences, some anecdotes, wherein you would have been facing some challenges, and out of those challenges, you would have made a mark for yourself, and where you feel there could be something to take away, and there could be something inspiring for the younger generation. And in the third segment of the program, I will be requesting you to elaborate certain things, whatever you would have told this session till that time. And then the session in the last segment, the session will be open for the students and the teachers, and whatever they want to ask to you, that's to be done. So now, without wasting further time, I request you, Manjari Jaruhar ji, to please take the session forward. We all are eager to listen to you. Manjari ji.
Thank you, Professor Ambrish Saxena, Dr. Sushmita Bala, Sajal Mishra, who has also given my introduction. And it is indeed very heartening for me that you have invited me to speak to your students of Delhi Metropolitan Education. And you are celebrating the Vibrant India series to celebrate 75 years of our independence. So there is a lot of celebration going on all over India. And in those celebrations, I'm sure you will also be a part. And I was very happy to listen to Dr. Sushmita Bala giving out the list of important persons and luminaries whom you have called to interact with the students. I am sure they will must have found all the talks very inspiring. And this is basically to inspire young people to achieve their own ambitions, and do whatever they do in their lives with a lot of motivation and dedication and sincerity. So I'm happy to see that you have a combination of girls and boys in your session today. And I hope whatever I speak today will be inspirational and also give them some guidance as to how to move forward in their careers. So I would like to first begin by taking everybody who's present today to 1976. In 1976, when I joined the police service, the Indian police service, what was the situation in India? In 1972, one lady, Kiran Bedi, had joined, about whom we have all heard. She has been an inspiration not only to me and a role model, but to several young women both in the IPS and outside the IPS. So 72, there was one woman. 73, there was also one woman. 74 and 75, each year had only one single woman. And it was only in 76 that for the first time, there were 6 women who qualified for the IPS. So when I qualified for the IPS, I came from a very, very sheltered background. My parents had brought me up in Patna. I had lived there all my life. I had gone to a convent school, which was an all-girls school. I had gone to a convent college, which was also a girls' college. So it was a very sheltered life, which I had started with. When I decided to take the civil services exams, nobody thought that I would qualify for the IPS because I had no background of any physical training or any physical activity. I was just another very studious, but a good student growing up in a place like Patna, leading a very, very sheltered and protected life under the care of my parents and my grandparents in a joint family. So in those days, Kiran Bedi had qualified, but not many people knew about the IPS. So when I qualified, my father was very, very apprehensive and he did not think that I was cut out for the police service, and he tried to first dissuade me from joining the service. He kept saying that, how will you do this job? It is not a job for a girl. And he was extremely concerned about my safety and my security. Till people came and told my father, elders in the family and some other police officers that no, Kiran Bedi is already marching on the Rajpath for the 26th January parade. You should send her. And that is how I was sent to the police academy. Now, the police training is extremely tough training. But let me tell you that there is no difference in the training of men and women police officers. It is at par. There is no change in either the training or the uniform or the salary or the entrance exam for women and the men. It is absolutely the same. So when I arrived at the police training, our day would start at 6 o'clock in the morning with PT and parade. Then the whole day there would be indoor classes dealing with law, forensic medicine, forensic science, investigation of crime, etc. The afternoons were taken over by training in motor driving, wireless training, firing, and horse riding. And then later we had to play compulsory games like hockey and football, basketball, volleyball, games which men play. Or the atmosphere even at the academy was all oriented towards the men. It was not still prepared to have women. And I don't blame them because there is no difference between the training of a man and a woman. So, and then the evenings are all taken up by guest lectures. People would come to give us lectures, and it's about and everything is compulsory. So I do not know at what time the day would end. So after completing my training, when I arrived at Bihar for my district training, that training is also for 1 year. So IPS officers are trained for 2 years, 1 year at the police academy and 1 year in the district. Now here is when the pushback starts. The DG, when I presented myself before him on the first day, I am very excited about joining the police force. I was told that I am the first woman to join Bihar, and there was a lot of excitement in the family. I was also excited. But when I went to the DG's office, he was not excited. He felt that, oh my goodness, what is this who has come? And he told me in very clear-cut words that I have asked for Kiran Bedi's file and you'll have to wait. Kiran Bedi is working in Delhi. Bihar is a very, very difficult place. And how can we accommodate you here? Unless I study the file, I cannot post you. So while all my male colleagues, 6 IPS probationers had been allotted to Bihar cadre, and while all the other 5 people were immediately posted to subdivisions for their training, I was asked to wait. And after some time, I was posted to the under the senior SP to start my training. Now, my training, and I was lucky that both my DIG and the SP took a lot of interest in my training. I was trained at par. I was made to do night rounds. I was made to do inquiries, investigations, everything. But when the final postings had to be done after a year, my batchmates were posted, but I was not posted. I was again told to wait. And after a lot of thinking, they posted me to a CID. What I want to tell you here is that there was so much of prejudice against women joining that they tended to become overprotective. Overprotective. How can we send you to a field? What will you do in a field? You please do a CID job. Now, why it was very difficult for me to be posted in the CID is that in the police service, if at the lowest level you do not do a field job, then throughout you will be only considered for desk jobs. You have to do a field job to be considered for higher postings. So there it went on, and for about 7-8 months I was in the CID. It was a bitter experience. I felt very frustrated and humiliated also that after completing my training at par with the men, I am now being asked to work in a small setup where there was not even a proper office to sit in. So this is where it started. Then I got posted to a subdivision. Fortunately for me, I did well in my subdivision. My work was appreciated. I got a number of letters of appreciation. My first bus dacoity case was detected, which was unheard of in those days. And I completed my subdivision posting very well. But again, when the promotion came, in 4 years, you get promoted as SP. Again, the same pushback happened. The DG felt that, अच्छा, आपने subdivision तो कर लिया, but district के लिए I don't think I can take the risk. I cannot post you. So for 3 years, again, I was posted in the CID, and I was working in a desk job with really nothing much to do till uh, there was a change, and I had to meet the senior officers and again request the chief minister and everybody that I should be sent to a district, otherwise my career was going to get hindered. So then they posted me to Bokaro district. For 3 years, I worked very hard. I did well there. There were a lot of situations which I handled. And then I got a lucky break when I was selected for the National Police Academy. There also, there was the first time that a lady was picked up by Mr. Julio Ribeiro. You must have heard of him. He was the special secretary in Home, and they were looking for a lady officer because they were wanted more and more women to join. And they thought that if we have a lady on the faculty, it will be very, very nice for the ladies, and there could be a role model and a mentor for them. So I was posted to the police academy on the basis of my performance. And for 5 years, I was at the police academy where I trained IPS officers. So 5 batches of officers I trained, and there were several lady officers. Now the numbers were going up. I was helping them to adjust. I was guiding the probationers, men and women. I was counseling them. I was teaching investigation paper. And there I found that I was always treated at par. I never faced any handicap. Once having completed NPA, I never looked back. From there, I went from place to place. I became DIG Patna. I was then selected for the CISF. I went to work in the CISF for a long time in Bokaro Steel City and then Delhi. And then I worked in the CRPF. I was posted at their training academy. And finally, again, I went when the state of Jharkhand was created. It was a novel experience. I was recalled to the state to come and help establish a new state. I worked there for 3 years, and again, I was recalled to the government of India. And I worked there for 6 years continuously till I retired as Special DG in the CISF. The point I want to emphasize here is that in the beginning, there was a lot of pushback. Being the only woman in the state was not easy. There were problems of getting accepted, not only by the public, by your juniors, by your peers, by your seniors. Everywhere there was a challenge. And how is it that I turned all these challenges into an opportunity is what I want to discuss further with the students, because that is what one needs to know, how a woman in 1976, when there were no women around, when there was hardly anybody even in the rank of constable or sub-inspectors, I in a khaki uniform wanted to get accepted and then moved ahead in my career and finally retired as special DG. So some life lessons which I would like to share with you is that the first lesson is that knowledge is really power. And what does that really mean? That in any service, you must know all your rules and regulations. You must know the subject. You all are students of journalism and media. It is very important to know your job very well first. You cannot not know what are the rules, what are the regulations, what is expected from you. All this you must learn. Unless you learn, you cannot move ahead in life. There'll be somebody always better than you who will leave you behind and move ahead. So knowledge is power. And even a person like me had to learn and relearn. I was an IPS officer and I could have easily said that अब तो हम IPS में आ गए हैं, अब मुझे क्या चीज सीखने की जरूरत है. But it is not true. Every time our rules change. From police training, from police in the field, I went to policing in the NPA, which is a different kind of policing. I became a teacher. I started teaching police subjects. There again, I had to learn how to communicate. I had to learn how to counsel. So I never have ever shirked any kind of training. So I would like to advise all of you that learn and relearn in your careers. Don't stop learning once you've got a job. Continue to learn the new things, all modern methods of social media, what all is coming in your field, you must learn and you must know. That only will help you to move ahead. The second thing which I would like to share with you is that in life, the chair is never important, the person is important. That is what I have learned, that in whatever job you are given, even if it is a job like I was first given a desk job to work in the CID, but let me tell you this experience which I had in the CID, because I did not have much work when the Bhagalpur blindings took place and they needed to make a team. And since I was like a spare officer there, not having much work, I was inducted into that team to look into the Bhagalpur blindings as to how it had happened and why it had happened and who was responsible for it. Now, I was still very young, just 5 or 6 years of service. And this team comprised of a DIG and 2 SPs. But when I joined that team, I realized that I had to go through so much of documentation, so much of interaction with the public who was on the side of the police officers who had blinded the criminals. And this is not the right thing to do. It was wrong to do these extrajudicial things, but the public was supporting the police officers who did the blinding, because everybody was fed up with the crimes being committed there. So it was a challenge. And very early in my career, I learned that to practice extrajudicial methods of handling crime never pays. You have heard of people doing encounters, you have heard of people doing blindings to control crime, but that doesn't work. So the thing I was telling you, that the chair is not important, the person is important. I was holding a very, very simple or a very shunted kind of a job, being in the CID, looking after some crime work, etc. But once I got an opportunity to go into this blinding case, start investigation, and I was selected only because people thought that I was a sincere person, I was hardworking, and because that I could deliver if I was given a job, I was selected for this. And because of the hard work we put in there, the inquiries we did, I learned so much. I learned so much at a very, very young age. So I say that don't ever feel bad if you don't have a job which is glamorous, which is important or some such thing. Even if you're given a very small job, try to do it the best possible way. The next thing I want to tell you is that whatever job you do, you must feel passionate about it. You cannot just do a job because ये job है तो हम उसको कर रहे हैं. You must bring something of your own into any job. You must show some passion, some emotion, or some values in whatever you're doing. In a police job, very often I had to face situations when one did not know what was right or wrong. And there, because you are working with a passion, you always try to get to the bottom of a job. A woman has been murdered and everybody is saying that, oh, she has committed suicide. But when you look into it and you look deeply into it, because you are looking into it very sincerely, you will find that she has been burnt by her in-laws for dowry, or she has been killed because she's been harassed for money. It could be anything. And only because of passion, you can give a lot of justice to the people. So whatever job you do, whether you are doing reporting or you're covering an event, don't take it casually. Do it with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of passion. I also would like to tell you that there are certain things in your life which you have to face. Like women will face gender prejudice. Don't let this bring you down. If the women are facing any kind of gender prejudice, please don't back out. Face it. Face that prejudice which is coming your way and try to get over it. Don't think that because in the office people are not taking me in the team that you must leave. You must persist. And अगर gender prejudice कुछ सामने आता भी है तो उसको जरूर resist करिए, and you try to work as a team member and forget about the prejudice. Try to move ahead and achieve whatever the organization wants you to achieve. And for women, I want to tell them that any job which is assigned to you, you must do it with the best ability possible. Put in your best foot forward. Do the whole thing very sincerely and very, very with a lot of commitment. I would also like to say that a woman has to play many roles in her career. She is a mother, she might be a wife, she is a breadwinner, she is a daughter, she's a daughter-in-law. Women should not get bogged down by some problems which are arising in their day-to-day working. They should find ways to deal with it. They should have patience, try and talk to people and see to it that whatever hindrance is coming your way, you are able to get over it. It is always good to have a mentor or a role model in your life. A mentor or a role model will guide you, will always tell you what is right or wrong, and you should feel free to share things with a mentor. And a mentor will keep changing in your life. It will not be the same mentor. The mentor who was with me when I was under training, the mentor who guided me when I was training in the field, and my mentors who were guiding me when I was working were all there. And I always used to consult them because I did not have any role model to follow. I was always the first. Wherever I went, I was the first lady officer. Whether I went to a training academy or I went to the paramilitary force or any place. So women have an important role to play, and don't get disheartened if there is any gender prejudice. Try to change the prejudice in your favor. Have a mentor and a role model. And one or two things I would like to say, and then open myself to any discussion, that treat others as you would like them to treat you. Don't be arrogant, be humble, understand what the environment is like, and build trust. It is only when you trust somebody, if you trust your boss, then you will listen to him. At the same time, if your boss trusts you and your colleagues trust you, then only can you achieve something in your organization. What happens if there is no trust? You don't trust your boss or your colleagues don't trust you, then how can you achieve the organizational goals? It will not happen. So building trust is very important in an organization. You should gain the trust of people around you. so that they give you responsibility. And only when you get responsibility can you show your own mettle and move forward. Now, with these few words, I would like to close my talk. And if there is any question answer session, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, Manjari ji, for telling all such things which are really necessary to be told to young people, particularly the things that you told to the women who are there in this session. So my first question to you will be, from the time 1960 when you joined the police force to the time we are passing through today, 2022. Now, things have changed, no doubt, we all know, and in all kind of jobs, we find more and more women are there. But still, as you yourself pointed out to this, there are gender-related issues, there are gender prejudices and all. And as you are asking the younger generation to fight this out and make a space for herself. Now, in such a situation, can you suggest certain very concrete things, how the scenario can change fast to the benefit of women, wherein we accept, the society accept women as an inseparable part, wherein they get all kind of opportunities at the level of policies, at the level of execution, at the level of education. What all can you suggest where that scenario is changed a little bit faster as far as women's place in the society is concerned?
Thank you, Dr. Saxena, Professor Saxena. It's an interesting question. I would first like to quote some figures in the police force itself, that though there is a 30% reservation for women in the states, the numbers are still very small. And all over the country, I don't think we have reached more than 10.5%, though there is 30% reservation. Women police constitute, and I mean women police in all ranks, from the constable to sub-inspectors, DYSPs, IPS officers, everything, it's only 10.5. In the paramilitary forces like the CRPF, BSF, ITBP, SSB, Assam Rifles, etc., we have 33% reservation since several years. And yet, to get to today, the paramilitary forces are at least 10 lakhs in strength, but the strength of the women is only about 29,250. So we are still very minuscule, and it will go a long way before we will be able to reach. And I was the other day hearing the CMD of a very important consulting company, and he was saying that if the Prime Minister's vision of $5 trillion economy has to be reached, 45% women should be joining the workforce. And today it is the numbers are very low. So how can we have more women? And that is what you are asking. The first thing I feel is that for parents, they have to get over this prejudice. Many parents are still very prejudicial about women working. Women still start getting married. The parents start thinking of their marriage at the age of 18 or even before that. So the government is coming out with some reforms, but the attitude of the parents and the family has to change, that women can achieve. And I think that little by little, this attitude is also changing, because I find now that I interact with a lot of women police, and they say that now even the in-laws feel very empowered if their daughter-in-law joins a police force. They feel very happy that she has brought a status to them in the village. So in the village, gradually things are changing, and your students in Delhi Metropolitan Education Institution, they must be also first timers. They must be stepping out for the first time to join a co-ed education. So to them, I can only say that you must persist and don't let little things pull you down. If somebody says something to you, or your relative says something to you, that why is she working, she should be married, don't get dejected. Don't feel that I have to now only do this and I cannot do this. Today's world and the present Prime Minister, for him, he has opened the world for you. The sky is the limit. And if a person like me could survive in 76, encouraged only because of my own determination, I would say. Because if you remember, my parents were not favor of joining. My training was very tough. My IG was not in. My DG did not want to post me. But very soon I kept on persisting, and the world opened for me. And then I never looked back. And the same thing I will tell the students here, that whether you're a male or female, don't be disheartened by anything which goes wrong in the first few years. Keep on persisting. But yes, you have to learn. You can't say that now I've passed out from the institution and I know everything. You have to come back to the institution or come back to something more and learn and expand your horizon and your vision. So prejudice you have to work against. Your own competence you must increase, and the general public at large must learn to accept women in workplaces. That is the way forward for us.
One more thing which you talked about extra judicial things and we know.
Hello, sir. Voice is not clear.
Okay. I said talked about the extra. Okay, so we can take the questions here if anyone wants.
Yeah, we can speak now. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. So I was referring to, as so you were talking about the extrajudicial killings and all, which happened in the encounters and the incident that you talked about. But then even today, a lot of such incidents happen where the police take recourse to such kind of measures which are not right, which are not judicious, but they do it. And there are incidents like in the Hyderabad rape case, which happened a few years back. The entire people, the population, the people were with the police force, though they killed the people in encounter, which was supposed to be the criminals who committed the crime, though it was not proven, but still that happened. So can you suggest certain such measures wherein such kind of character of the police can be changed, and what kind of reforms, what kind of measures would you suggest to make the police more people friendly?
I do not approve of any extrajudicial methods of crime control. First, I would like to clarify that I have not believed in encounters. I have also not approved of people doing things which are not, of the police doing things which is not according to law. Many people believe that the police has to be harsh, they have to punish, and that is why you will find that when the police killed the rapists in Hyderabad, there was so much of support for the police. Similarly, when I was investigating the Bhagalpur blindings, when my team arrived in Bhagalpur, the entire population was shouting slogans against us. They felt that the police had done the right thing, and that is why that no action should be taken against them. What is happening today is that trial takes a long time in the courts. The courts are overwhelmed with police cases and they go on for a long time. People want justice. People want justice immediately. They want that if some crime has been committed against them, the accused should be punished immediately. But you see how long it took for the Nirbhaya case. In the Nirbhaya case, it took more than 10 years for the people to be hanged and really exemplary punishment to be taken. And during that period, so many people either committed suicide or died and all. So people lose faith in what the police is doing. Though the police is not responsible for the trial of the cases need to be expedited. And what I would suggest is that every time something wrong is done, the punishment should be given. There should be the police, if they have done something wrong, they should face the punishment. It should not be that senior officers try to hide that. If they have done something wrong, they should face the consequences. And sooner or later, they do face the consequences. Like in the Bhagalpur blindings, when we recorded that, yes, the blindings were wrong, then people were suspended, police officers were suspended, and they had to face a trial. And even in the Hyderabad case, if you know, later on, it was found that the encounter was not right, even though there was so much of celebration in Hyderabad when the encounters. So this never pays. Extrajudicial methods of handling crime has never paid. It does not pay. And it is always good to educate the policemen and discourage them from doing these things. It is our job as IPS officers to discourage them and never approve of them. And since your students will be joining the media, I can only tell them that they should also be on the right side of law. And before they report anything, praising something which is not right, they should think twice about it. They should try to be on the right path.
Thank you, Manjari ji. One more thing I would like to know from you, since you have had a very long career, right from police to CISF and then CRPF and all. So, what was that the best moment of your life, career-wise or working-wise, which you can share with us?
The most there were many incidences when you have delivered justice and people have felt very happy about it. Even a simple thing like a robbery case in which a young child has lost a ring or some gift which she has been given to her father, and if you recover it and hand it to her, it is a matter of big it's a jubilation for her that the police has recovered. Even if it's a very small thing, it brings a lot of happiness. If you have recovered a child who has been kidnapped, the parents' happiness is immense. For me, the most challenging thing, and which I do not know what to call it, whether really happiness or satisfaction, I would say, when you detect a case, a bad case, you cannot say that you felt happy. You can only say that you felt satisfied that you had given relief to somebody. That is the way I look at it. And the biggest challenge in my career were the Sikh riots, the anti-Sikh riots, which took place after the death of Mrs. Gandhi. There were so many families which were affected. I was on leave when this happened. And when I came back after leave, that is just, I came back only 2 days after the assassination had taken place. But the riots took place the next day itself. And in Bokaro, I had many killings, which I have recorded in my book. And there, when I came back and I went to the refugee camp where people had been rescued and kept, instead of being angry with me, everybody clung to me and started saying that, why did you go? Why did you go? You should have not gone. If you hadn't gone, nothing would have happened. So this kind of confidence people had in me. And it was a very, very emotional moment when you are thinking that so much has happened. People have been killed, houses have been ransacked, property has been looted, that the people will be angry, but they have faith in you. So that was my biggest consolation. And I took it upon myself that every case I worked very hard on, every dead body was accounted for. Even if the body was not found, I registered an FIR, and I helped in recovering property. I helped in reuniting families who had got who had been just scattered because they didn't know where to go and hide themselves. So that was all a matter of great satisfaction. And finally, I was not there to save people from death, but at least after their death, each and every death was accounted for in Bokaro, and compensation was given to them. I made sure that whatever little help could be given to them, jobs, I made sure that all the women were given jobs, all the dependents were given jobs. So all this was a matter of great satisfaction, and I worked with a lot of passion. As I was telling you earlier, that when you do a job, you have to do it with passion. I could have just allowed my subordinates to handle these cases, but I did not. I took everything personally, and even today, people remember me for the job I did after the anti-Sikh riots. So that was a big moment in my life.
Yeah, Manjari, I want to ask one more thing. What was the, I would like to, you know, I would like, okay, students, you can take up your
सर
questions.
आपका ऑडियो बहुत कम आ रहा है, प्लीज थोड़ा सा वो कर लीजिए, क्लोज करके खोल दीजिए.
Okay, but by the time the students can ask a question, Gauri, you can ask your question. Gauri,
Gauri, switch on your camera, then ask the question.
Greetings to one and all present over here. I'm Gauri Dhyani from BGMC batch. And ma'am, I just want to ask that, like, what do you do to calm yourself in every situation? Because for a girl, for a woman, it's very difficult. Like, we are emotional and more emotional than men, basically. So, how do you calm yourself?
So it is not bad to be emotional. It is, I think, as a police officer, if you're emotional, please don't hide your emotions, because we are women. And I say that a woman need not always be a man. She should remain feminine and do a job as a feminine person. So now I'll answer your second question. I will also answer your question about being calm. But the first thing I want to say is that I am a police officer and I arrive at a scene where a child has died. Can I stop my tears? I cannot. I'm a mother. I cannot. A man may stop his tears, but you as a woman will not be able to stop your tears if you see a dead body of a child, of a husband, and the wife is crying there and clinging on to him and crying. Those are situations where you cannot hold back your tears. So I say that you are a woman, and if you cry, doesn't matter. But how do you calm yourself? That only comes with training. Training equips you that you will have tears, but you will not forget that, oh, the body has to be lifted, the body has to be sent for post-mortem, the investigation has to start, the blood stains have to be picked up, the weapon of offense has to be seized. So it is your training and your own inner being. Our police training also is it trains you to face all these things. And at that time, when you are an SP, there is nobody to tell you what you will do next. This will be the same thing with you people. As a journalist, you are covering some case. There is nobody there ki, ab hum kya kare, ab hum kya kare. You have to decide what you have to do. So how do you keep yourself calm? That is your own inner being. You have to, in your training, you have to take things seriously and understand that even in the worst of worst situations, a riot is taking place and you are covering that thing, you have to remain calm. You cannot at that point of time start getting nervous. Mujhe kya karna hai, kya nahi karna hai. And that is why I keep telling you, I keep repeating that you must know your job. When you know your job, then you know that, yes, I am the leader here and I will take charge of the situation. So calm karne ke liye, to keep yourself calm, you must know what you have to do and you must train yourself to do that thing. And there is no harm in being emotional. You can cry, at the same time you can remain calm. You can have tears in your eyes and still you will know and tell your subordinates what has to be done. That is the way we are trained, and that is the way you should train yourself. It's a very interesting question you have asked, how to keep calm.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for inspiring each and every one present over here. Thank you so much.
Now moving on, Rohini Rajput, please ask your question.
Greetings to everyone present here. I, Rohini Rajput. Ma'am, as you told in session about the prejudice against women, and we still see that this type of discrimination exists in the workplaces. So how to overcome that if ever I come across such situation?
Yes, it is very common to have prejudice at a workplace. It is common. I do not deny that. Of course, in the police force, it was very, very common in the beginning, but now at least it has become less. But it is not that everybody is accepting. So even in your job, you will have prejudices, you will have people trying to push you down, put you down, say that what have you done? This is a find fault with your work, but you have to persist. You have to persist, and please do not give up. And as I said in my talk, that for a woman, it is very important to build trust. Only if your boss trusts you or your colleagues trust you, then only will they take you along as a group. But if you are a shirker, you want to avoid doing certain jobs, you want to pretend that you can't do all these things, then people will not accept you. There will be prejudice. So the first thing about getting rid of prejudice or any kind of pushback at your workplace is to build your own trust and build your capacity. Your own capabilities and capacities you have to build, and then only will trust come and people will go along with you.
Now moving on, Vishnu Das is here to ask his question. Vishnu.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Greetings to you, ma'am. Ma'am, I have a question regarding that. Ma'am, in rural area like some Bihar sort of, ma'am, when you became an officer, CIS officer, ma'am, how your parents and your neighborhood people took it, means ma'am, उन लोगों ने उस चीज को कैसे लिए, उससे वो प्राउड फील किया या क्योंकि मैम वहाँ पे लोग वुमेन्स को ऐसा भी थिंक करते हैं कि वो लोग कि वो बैकवर्डली, तो ऐसा कुछ हुआ आपके साथ मैम? आपके पास एक्सपीरियंस थोड़ा ये इस रिगार्डिंग में जानना चाहता हूँ मैम मेनली।
तो पहले तो मैंने जैसे बताया कि हमारे पेरेंट्स तो नहीं चाहते थे कि हम पुलिस के जॉब में जाएं, वो तो प्रेजुडिस वहां था ही। लेकिन जब मैं अपना ट्रेनिंग करके वापस बिहार में आई, तो वो बहुत प्राउड भी फील करने लगे कि देखो मेरी बेटी ट्रेनिंग करके आ गई है एंड उसका पोस्टिंग अब हो जाएगा एंड ऑल। वो भी दुखी हुए थे जब हमारा पोस्टिंग ठीक तरीके से नहीं हुआ, जैसा मैंने बताया था कि फील्ड में नहीं भेज के मुझे डेस्क के जॉब में भेज देते थे। और पब्लिक के संबंध में हम बताना चाहते हैं कि महिलाओं को या किसी को भी पब्लिक से कभी परेशानी नहीं होती है। पब्लिक जो है वो दो ही चीज जानना चाहती है। वो जानना चाहते हैं कि क्या हमें काम अपना आता है, क्या हम अपना काम सही ढंग से करना चाहते हैं, और दूसरा वो जानना चाहते हैं कि हम प्रेजुडिस तो नहीं है कि हम कोई मेन के फेवर में बात कर रहे हैं या हम वेमेन के फेवर में बात कर रहे हैं। दे वांट अस टू बी फेयर, दे वांट अस टू बी जस्ट, कि भाई जो कुछ भी हम कह रहे हैं वो हम सही कर रहे हैं। पब्लिक सिर्फ यही चाहती है। और आप खुद जब फील्ड में जाइएगा तो आप देखेंगे कि पब्लिक का एक्सेप्टेंस जल्दी होता है। सबसे डिफिकल्ट एक्सेप्टेंस पियर्स का होता है, जो हमारे लेवल के लोग होते हैं, वो हमेशा हमको चैलेंज करते रहते हैं। पियर्स और सबऑर्डिनेट्स एंड लेडीज, महिलाएं भी, जब हम जाते थे गांव में केस देखने के लिए, तो उन दिनों बड़ा पर्दा होता था। महिलाएं घूंघट में रहती थी, वो हमें से पीछे से झांकती थी, पेड़ों के पीछे से देखती थी, लेकिन उन्हें भी पता था कि मैडम आई है तो सही काम होगा। तो वो एक बहुत बड़ा सेटिस्फैक्शन होता है कि उनको पता था कि मैडम आई है, मतलब हम आए हैं, और हमारा रेपुटेशन ऐसा बन गया था कि मैडम आई है तो सही काम होगा। तो महिलाएं बहुत बार हमको आके खुद बताती थी कि उनका क्या समस्या है, जबकि उस वक्त महिलाओं का बाहर निकलना बहुत कॉमन नहीं था।
Now moving on to another question by Himanshi. Himanshi, ask your question.
नमस्कार मैम। मैम मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है, आपके आईपीएस, मैंने आपके बहुत सारे इंटरव्यूज देखे, उसमें आपके आईपीएस बनने से पहले आपकी लाइफ में एक इमोशनल ब्रेकडाउन आया था। तो किसी भी मतलब महिला के लिए इमोशनल ब्रेकडाउन से जाना, वो भी वो वाले जो आपको आया था, तो आप कैसे उससे अपने इमोशनल ब्रेकडाउन से ऊपर हटी थी? और एक और क्वेश्चन है कि ये मैडम सर जो आपका टाइटल है, इसका सिग्निफिकेंस क्या है?
जो मेरा इमोशनल समस्या हुआ था वो मेरे करियर में बहुत उसके वजह से ही मैंने करियर टेकअप किया था, और मैंने डिसाइड किया था कि मैं नौकरी करूंगी और अपने पैरों पे रहूंगी। तो उसके उस सिचुएशन को हैंडल करने के लिए मैंने अपने को पहले ट्रेन किया और इक्विप किया। मैंने पढ़ाई किया, कोचिंग लिया और पुलिस के नौकरी में क्वालिफाई किया। क्वालिफाई करने के बाद सक्सेसफुल ट्रेनिंग किया और फिर मैं जॉब करने लगी। तो एक वो सिलसिला था कि मैं अपने पैरों पे खड़ा होना चाहती थी और इसलिए मैं बहुत कमिटमेंट के साथ पढ़ी और अपना एग्जाम्स भी बहुत सीरियसली पढ़ाई करके हमने दिया। दूसरा तुम्हारा क्वेश्चन था कि मैडम सर मैंने क्यों कहा अपनी किताब को। जब मैं 1976 में नौकरी में आई थी और बिहार गई थी, तो ये शब्द हमारे सबॉर्डिनेट्स ने हम लोगों के लिए इस्तेमाल किया, वेमेन के लिए। और जो सबॉर्डिनेट्स होते हैं, सब इंस्पेक्टर्स, कांस्टेबल्स वगैरह, वो अपने सीनियर ऑफिसर्स को बहुत रिस्पेक्टफुली कॉल करते हैं। दे डोंट से तुम ताम, आप बोलेंगे, उनको सर बोलेंगे, हमेशा सर ही बोलते थे क्योंकि लोग सिर्फ मेल को देखे थे, वो फीमेल ऑफिसर को तो देखे नहीं थे, कभी कभी थी ही नहीं बिहार में। तो वो सर सर सब लोगों को बोलेंगे, साहब बोलेंगे, हजूर बोलेंगे, ऐसे एड्रेस करते थे। तो वो लोग हमें भी सर बोलने लगे। एक तो हम खाकी यूनिफॉर्म मैन के जैसा ही पहनते थे, तो वो मुझे सर बोलते थे। लेकिन मुझे इनको ये भी पता था कि सर बोलने में कुछ गड़बड़ कर रहे हैं, उनको एहसास था कि ये कुछ गड़बड़ हो रहा है। तो उन लोगों ने खुद ही उसमें जोड़ दिया मैडम, मैडम बोल दिया। और सर तो जबान पे चढ़ा ही था कि सीनियर ऑफिसर्स को सर बोलना है। तो आपका ड्राइवर हो, चाहे ऑर्डली हो, चाहे आपका ऑफिसर इंचार्ज हो, वो फिर सब बोलने लगे मैडम सर। और काफी दिनों तक ये मैडम सर चलता था। और मेरी किताब लिखने के बाद एक लेडी आईपीएस ऑफिसर ने मुझे फोन करके बताया कि मैडम, फॉर द सैक्रिफाइसेस यू ऑल मेड, now sir has been dropped and we are only called madam now. So things must have changed. मैंने रिटायर किए भी 10-12 साल हो गया, so things must be changing, I guess.
Manjari ji, I would like to ask something related to this. What exactly was the motivation to write this book? And do you have any plans to write further?
I have no plans to write further, definitely not at the moment. But I wrote this book almost 12 years after my retirement. I retired in 2010, but I wrote the book only last year. And I got a chance to write also because of the lockdown. Lockdown में हम बिल्कुल confined थे पटना में with my mother. एंड टाइम बहुत था, तो हमारे भाई बहुत बोल रहे थे और मेरे बच्चे कि तुम्हें लिखना चाहिए बिकॉज योर एक्सपीरियंस आर यूनिक, तुम बिहार की फर्स्ट विमेन हो, इट विल मोटिवेट मोर पीपल। तो पहले तो मुझे लगता था कि कौन सा इतना बड़ा मोटिवेशन है, देयर आर सो मेनी विमेन, बट देन आई रियलाइज दैट नॉट मेनी पीपल हैव रिटन अबाउट देयर मेमोइर्स एंड हाउ दे हैव हैंडल्ड दिस एग्जाम एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट। इस तरह से मुझे एक मोटिवेशन हुआ कि हम चलो लिख देते हैं, शायद किसी ना किसी महिला को इम्पैक्ट करेगा। एंड दिस बुक हैज बीन वेरी सक्सेसफुल एंड अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल हैव बीन राइटिंग टू मी एंड टेलिंग मी दैट दिस इज मोटिवेटिंग देम टू डू समथिंग इन लाइफ। तो मुझे मेरा मकसद यही था कि शायद हमारे स्टोरी से द विमेन विल बिकम मोर मोटिवेटेड। एंड मैं आपको बताना चाहती हूँ कि मैंने पूरी कहानी जो भी लिखी, हमने कोई डायरी नहीं रखा था, कोई कागज पुराना नहीं रखा था। जब मैं रिटायर की 2010 में, तो मुझे लगा कि अब कितने दिन तक ये सब फाइल्स कैरी करेंगे, तो मैंने सब कुछ डिस्ट्रॉय कर दिया। तो हमारा ये मेमोइर्स, हम इसको इसलिए कहते हैं नॉट ऑटोबायोग्राफी, क्योंकि मैंने सिर्फ इसमें वही सब चीज लिखा है जो हमको रियली इम्पैक्ट किया। एंड इट वॉज वेरी डियर टू माई हार्ट एंड इट वॉज वेरी इमोशनल। अभी बहुत सा 10 साल नौकरी के रिटायर होने के बाद भी मैं 10-12 साल अभी हूँ और इतने सारे घटनाएं मेरे साथ हो चुकी हैं, पर फिर भी आई जस्ट स्टक टू दैट पीरियड विच कैन इंस्पायर एंड मोटिवेट अदर्स। मैंने उसी तरह के घटनाओं को भी लिखा है।
तो in any case you have done a phenomenal job in the sense because this is something which will remain.
Yes.
For generations to read and get inspiration. So it's a landmark thing that you have done, no doubt. So with this we come to the end of this.
चैट बॉक्स में कुछ क्वेश्चंस हैं, वो देख लीजिए. So we have questions.
Chat box में.
Yes.
Yeah, there are 2-3 questions in the chat box. I will read out, Manjari ji, for you. Vinayak Yadav has asked, what suggestions would you provide to journalism students who are interested in covering stories related to law enforcement? Would you like to answer this?
हाँ, बहुत अच्छा है. हम लोग भी देखते रहते हैं कि क्राइम रिपोर्टिंग. मैं उनको ये कहना चाहूंगी कि पहले उनको लॉ भी समझना चाहिए. थोड़ा लॉ, क्राइम रिपोर्टिंग में इट इज वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड द लॉ ऑफ द लैंड, कि लॉ क्या कहता है. बहुत बार क्या होता है जर्नलिज्म में, लोग पहले ही से अटकलबाजी करने लगते हैं. दे कम टू अ कंक्लूजन अबाउट कि व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. दैट शुड नॉट हैपन, एंड इट शुड नॉट बी लाइक कि हम पब्लिक को खुश करने के लिए कुछ लिख रहे हैं. इट शुड बी बेस्ड ऑन फैक्ट्स. जर्नलिज्म शुड बी बेस्ड ऑन फैक्ट्स, एंड अ क्राइम जर्नलिस्ट शुड नो व्हाट द लॉ ऑफ द लैंड इज. तभी वो लिख सकता है कि ये जो काम हुआ है वो सही हुआ है, अगर वो पुलिस के ऊपर लिख रहा है, और अगर वो कोई पब्लिक में कोई इंसिडेंट हुआ है उसके बारे में लिख रहा है, तो ही हैज टू से व्हाट वाज राइट एंड व्हाट वाज रॉन्ग, कि पब्लिक ने सही किया या वो कोई और घटना हुआ है वो सही था कि नहीं, या कोई पॉलिटिकल चीज है. तो जब तक वो लॉ को ठीक से नहीं समझते हैं तो कुछ रिपोर्टिंग गलत होता है. एंड टुडे जर्नलिस्ट के लिखने से बहुत इम्पैक्ट होता है, क्योंकि वो सोशल मीडिया पे लिखता है और वो प्रिंट मीडिया में भी लिखता है, तो उसकी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बहुत बढ़ जाती है.
There's one more question, though we are running out of time, but still I'm reading this question, Manjari ji, for you. This is by Juneli Chauhan. She's asking how to handle things at ease or daily life situations where a person who is a big time overthinker thinks a lot about little things and get hurt by it.
ये तो खुद आपके मेंटल ट्रेनिंग की बात है, कि अगर आप छोटे छोटे बातों को बिल्कुल दिल में बिठा के और उसी पे लगी रहती हैं तो इसको यू शुड गेट ओवर इट. यू शुड सी द लार्जर पिक्चर. ऑलवेज लुक एट द लार्जर पिक्चर, कि हम क्या अचीव करना चाहते हैं. सिर्फ एक छोटे से चीज को लेके हम बॉक डाउन हो जाएं और उसी में फंसे रहें, कि हम अपने लिए कुछ आगे का सोचें.
Thank you, Manjari ji. So we are moving towards the close of the session. And if I am asked to sum up and to find out what are the takeaways for me also, and I believe for all the teachers and the students, one important thing that you said, I think that will be handy for all the students, that knowledge is power. And we should have to have the subject knowledge. As just now also you said that if somebody wants to do the crime reporting, that a certain understanding of the law is also necessary. And we all should always be in the process of learning and relearning, because undoubtedly learning is a constant process. It's a lifelong process. It never ends. And if we want to really do something good in life, then that should remain on. And another thing that you said, which is important, that a person is more important than the chair. So one should always try to do the things which are fair, which are just, and also the things that you said for motivating women. And since in DME Media School also the number of female students is much more than the male students.
Oh, very good, very good. Very nice.
So I believe that if these women, these girls get motivated and learn as to how to do the things in the right earnest, how to work on their growth, which in any case will ultimately contribute towards the growth of the society, then that will be the success of this session. Thank you so much, Manjari Jaruhar ji, to spare so much time and interacting with our students. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Saxena and Dr. Susmita Bala, for listening to me and giving me this opportunity. I'm glad that I can motivate. I'll be glad if my talk has been received well by the women and it helps them to achieve their own ambitions. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
The first impression that comes to our mind about any college Tall buildings, big classrooms, large lobby areas, thick books, IT labs, assignments, class tests, and projects, nothing besides that. Every hour, minute, second spent here help us carving and shaping our persona, cultivating innovative mindsets for the challenging world. Learning is a lifelong process. Sharing knowledge, inculcating values of life, spark the innovative horizons of mind. Fun and frolic is the nature of every nook and corner here. A daily dose of thrill we are sure to get here.